Oh boy, freshly off the high of Olympia, we have a brand new wave of complaining. Is Olympia too good? Rivals of Aether 2 not enough like certain games? But also too much like other games? And don't even get me started on diagonals. We're playing diagonals of Aether right now, and you don't even know. Now, this isn't anything new. Every patch has been met with some people celebrating the changes and others complaining that things aren't changing at all. How can both exist is a mystery to me, but you know, it is what it is. Honestly, I think people in general have become really used to complaining with a lot of vitriol and bad faith for some reason. I'm not really sure where this deep anger comes from. Maybe it has to do with the increasing frustration at the world lately because of what's going on in the world? Nah, that can't be it. It must be Dan's fault. Anyway, to be perfectly clear, I am not in the frustrated camp. I very much enjoy the game currently, and I have complete faith in the devs' direction in the game. Although, to be real, I low-key have not clicked with Olympia. I know. I was hyped all this time. I was like, oh my god, Olympia, my main from Rivals of Aether 1. But I think I am just Lox pilled at the moment. I just do so much better with Lox, and I have so much more fun with Lox. I'm switching back to being a Lox main. I'm sorry. So just to let you know, I'm going to go over the news really quick and then get into the conversation about players' frustrations. It's going to be in the Twitter section of the video because that's where most people voice their concerns. So if you want to get right into that first, here's the timestamp for that. But anyway, welcome to Recap of Aether. I'm your host, Both Players, and let's get into it. First things first, we have the mid-season patch for April. With this mid-season patch, we have Badger Co. Olympia. Badger Co. is a reference to Dungeons of Aether. It is a villain in Dungeons of Aether. I'm actually not sure if it's the main villain or if it's just a villain. I haven't played Dungeons of Aether, forgive me. But yeah, it's a reference to that. Olympia as a construction worker, which I think works really well. The glasses are hilarious. Overall, a great skin. Olympia just came out, but man, the skins have been great. And this skin, according to this right here, also has unique voiceover lines for her taunt and victory sequence. There's a little main menu UI update, so the little platform that you ride on when you have the recently played character is now the most recently used platform. Before, I think it was just the default platform, or the platform or whatever stage you were on, but now it's the platform that you've used. And now for some gameplay and balance updates. So I'm not going to go into detail because again, other people have done this already, but basically it's a bunch of changes to help with the recently added dynamic environment collision boxes. So yeah, it's mostly making that more consistent, and that's basically all the changes. Randall can now cancel neutral special grab again. I guess this was accidentally removed in the 1.2.0.5 hotfix. I mean, I had no idea that was happening. Ellis got some buffs to his rolls, making it faster, just to help him get out of disadvantage quicker. And Olympia got hit with a bunch of small nerfs. Now this isn't any big nerfs because as they said here, they don't want to overswing on changes since she is new and there's still a lot to learn both in her meta and her counterplay. But they wanted to address a few things first. Namely, it's to make up special a bit harder to land, making the hitbox a bit smaller. Gem has been nerfed. The angle has been changed so it increases effectiveness of DI. The gem dash got 2 frames of startup, making it a bit harder to combo and to use it off stage. And the gem field broken duration has been increased from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, making it a bit more rewarding to break the gem. And the other couple big things I think is that down tilt is now auto floor huggable. So if an Olympia is spamming down tilts, you can just floor hug that. And the up throw knockback growth has been increased slightly, making it so that it sends further in later percents, so it makes combos at higher percents harder. Next we had the Cake Assault Direct. The best player of Rivals 1 and definitely top 3 of Rivals 2 created his own Direct to share his thoughts on his future with Rivals and competition right now. And the 3 biggest things that he has announced is that A, he's going to stream more and make more content. Apparently he used to live on a farm. I don't know if that's a joke or a meme or if he legitimately lived on a farm, but he used to have bad internet. So he was unable to stream a lot and make a lot of content, but now that he's moved, he should be able to do that in full force. Secondly, he wants to rethink his strategy in competitive Rivals of Aether, and the way he's going to rethink is to get stupid. That's right, he wants to basically, he wants to like drop it down a notch in terms of like trying so hard. He explains that his passion in the game is kind of at a middle, and so he's working really hard to like do VOD reviews, to practice and all that, and his heart isn't really in it. So what he wants to do is just to like play brain off to bring the love of the game back, and then maybe get more serious into it later. And finally, the other big news is that Cake Assault is opening up coaching. As you can see right here, it is $30 for 30 minutes or $50 for an hour. Cake says he recommends getting the 30 minutes first because there's going to be a lot of information and he doesn't want you to be overloaded when getting a lesson, but an hour is more value because it's technically $10 off from getting two 30-minute sessions. Either way, there's been a lot of publicly good reviews on Cakeasoult's coaching, so if you are someone who wants to get better at the game, this is something you should check out. And in fact, I might take a lesson myself. And I might record it and make a video out of it. If that's something you guys are interested, let me know. And the last bit of news, there's apparently been a bit of a server issue this last week. On April 17th, 2025, Rivals of Aether said that yesterday there was an outage at one of our server providers, so we are moved to a backup service to keep things running. We're not 100% restored yet, so you might have noticed some of the usual servers in your region missing from our list today. We just wanted to let everyone know that we're aware and working on a fix to have them back to normal soon. Thanks for bearing with us. And then there's a bear. But yeah, they're investigating the server outage. They're not really sure what happened. The programmers informed them that a fix has been made and the players should now be able to find matches, but they're still working on the back end to get to the bottom of this. So it is still unknown at the moment of recording what's going on with the servers, but hopefully it is fixed by the time this video is up. Unlike before when it was a little bit ambiguous what the problems with the servers are, it seems that this time there actually is a problem with the servers. And last Friday, Twitch Rivals streamed Rivals of Aether. We had 4 teams competing against each other in a round robin type scenario. And these were the teams, as you can see: Team Fullstream, Team Cakeasoult, Team Luck, and Team Ion. Now I'm not gonna lie, the teams are a bit skewed, especially Team Cakeasoult. But spoiler alert, the team that won is Team Ion! I'm a little bit surprised. I really thought Cakeasoult was gonna win, but Team Ion really took the cake. No pun intended, that really just came out of my mouth. And I wanted to particularly shout out this event because when I was watching, I was actually watching through CJ's stream. Dude, this is why I love competition. It's not about the level of play. Like, high level play, of course it's beautiful. But what's the most beautiful about this game is 2 people of equal level duking it out. This set with CJ and Stans, I think was some of the most electrifying sets I've watched in recent history. It's just because both players really wanted it. They both were playing their hearts out for their team and doing some cool stuff. CJ, honestly, CJ was going crazy with the command grabs. It was just a lot of fun to see people having fun with the game. Oh, like, look at that! That command grab was crazy. CJ had so many of those. I mean, look at how hyped CJ got. Look.
No wonder we're winning.
Come on! That one was for Jake. That feels so good though. Oh my god, I love competing. I love competing. Just giving it your fucking all, dude.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
That was very close. I was like, damn, if I lose this,
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. The love of competition. That's why we're here. That's why we love this game. Come on, you guys. It's about the competition. It's the love of that game, you guys. Jeez. And it put a huge smile on my face just to watch someone have fun, man. It was great. And CJ is quote unquote just a gold player, but he's having a time of his life. He's doing great. A bunch of streamers have their own POVs, but I do recommend checking out CJ's VOD. I'll probably put it in the description down below. Alright, now we move on to the Twitter portion of the video, where we're going to really get into the frustrations of other players, as well as the responses from other people, and kind of see what the vibe is for the community. Top player Marlon says, at some point I wonder how many changes are actually made to increase counterplay rather than increase players X's ability to spam their win condition harder than player Y. Why are we buffing Fleet's and Zetter's most commonly used moves and hiding it behind the excuse we're buffing out of shield options? Zetterburn has Shine. Why does Fleet's need frame 3 out of shield that covers her entire body and leads to a grab? It's already one of her most spammed aerials. I think this game desperately needs a secondary mechanic to balance out some of these changes because on paper they're not bad, but buffing some of these moves have so many other implications where they become a lot more annoying. I mean, look, Marlon is one of the most passionate people about Rivals of Aether, and I get it. He has his direction that he wants the game to go, and it's not necessarily taking that direction, so he's a bit frustrated. But I always think the language used about, like, I don't understand why this is happening. Like, the implication, at one point, I wonder how many changes are actually made to increase counterplay instead of increasing players. Like, the implication here is that the devs don't know what they're doing. And I just think it's less that they don't know what they're doing, it's that the direction that they're going is different than what you might want from the game. The Marlin goes on later to say, Rivals 2 having your favorite mechanics from the game you're most familiar with is why the game has so many issues. Which is a really interesting take, because like, I think what he's saying is that because Rivals of Aether 2 specifically is like a giant Venn diagram of like a bunch of different games, but whatever mechanic that is from your base game, there's a bunch of other things to learn as well. So you're like, wait, this is like kind of like my game, so I'm kind of familiar, but then there's so much other stuff that isn't familiar, so it's like not exactly what I want. Like, you know, people who play Rivals 1 basically wants Rivals 1 again, but modern. People who play PM want PM, but with dev support. People who play Ultimate want Ultimate, but better internet. Like, people just want their game, but better. And Rivals 2 is kinda that, but kinda not, which I think is the real source of the frustration for a lot of people. It's like 50% there for a lot of people, and so they're like, I don't know, misguided in thinking that this is like a better version of their game, which it's not a better version of their game, it's just a different one. Dan responses, but surely the missing mechanics from my favorite game will fix all the issues. True, vectoring would fix Rivals too. Maybe. Okay, a little bit low-key, like, Marlon is obviously joking. Regular DI has a lot more skill expression, in my opinion, but vectoring did make DI really easy in Smash 4 and Ultimate. That's for sure. Like the intuition of just holding in or out instead of perpendicular, especially because like I find this to be true that certain moves that send in like a semi, it's not completely horizontal, but it's not completely like 45 degrees either. So you think you're supposed to DI diagonal up, but you're actually supposed to DI straight up because that's more perpendicular. It's not the most intuitive. You have to know the DI of each move. Instead of Ultimate, you just hold in to survive and reduce the knockback, you know what I mean? This is a really funny response that Marlon gets into later, actually. Do you even enjoy the game? I don't think I've seen a positive tweet from you in Rivals 2 in forever. Why don't you just stop playing? This is a point that I think is reigns true. Like, if you don't like the game, you don't have to play. As much as we want people to play our favorite game, if it's not for you, man, you don't have to do it. You know, instead of like staying in the game with a lot of like poison in your heart and like trying to just like fix everything the way you want, maybe it's just not the game for you. Now, this isn't necessarily talking to Marlon, because he does explain later that he likes Rivals 2. But he just is complaining because he wants changes to happen, and this is what he believes would make the most effective change. But we'll see if that becomes true. Other people like Butterball is saying Dan giving Rivals 2 players Olympia was like putting autocorrect on the monkey's typewriters. So this is more of a joke about Olympia and how good Olympia is, but you know. This was actually before Twitch Rivals, but Void says, yeah, I literally don't think I can play Rivals 2 anymore. How sad is it that such a great plat fighter comes out with my fave plat fighter character and I just hate playing him. Gonna try my heart out and touch Rivals tomorrow, but I'm tired of inconsistent moves. He continues to say, I wish it was a matter of skill or character strength, but it's literally pressing a button and getting a consistent outcome. When you don't feel comfortable pressing a specific button as a character, you might as well be able to unbind the man. It makes no sense. Yeah, he doesn't really get into it more, but I wonder if this is like, when he says consistent, I wonder if he means that like, certain moves have hitboxes that are like too specific. Maybe it's the reverse it. Like, he wants to hit a dare to go a certain way, but like it just randomly, quote unquote, gets the reverse hitbox and it'll go a certain different way. And look, I am a gold player, peaked at plat, but like I kind of feel the same way with certain moves. Like, not gonna lie, the amount of times I've accidentally gotten reverse hitboxes is probably in like the 80%. I think 80% of the time I don't mean to do it, but it happens, and I'm, instead of like, for example, Loxodon F Smash, the amount of times the reverse hit comes out, I'm like, what the hell is, first of all, why is that hit there? But secondly, I'm like, okay, well now he's like shot on stage instead of off stage is what I wanted. I can't understand. I don't know the nuances of Forest Burn to really know what he's talking about here in relation to Forest Burn, but I understand the feeling. Mock Rock, which, if you aren't familiar, did a lot of YouTube content on Smash Brothers and is a fan of platform fighters in general, initially said, finally got a chance to sit down with some Rivals 2 this month. Excuse me, what the heck is this thing and why is it allowed to do anything it is currently doing? And then develops further, yeah, you know what, it's not just recency bias. I legitimately dislike this character and the mentality she was made with, far more than in Rivals 1. Being released in a blatantly broken state obviously doesn't help, but I don't think balancing will make me a fan, to be honest. That's an interesting thing to say. Dan responds, I don't know, she's pretty cool, IMO. Dude, I love Dan, man. I think Dan is one of my favorite developers of all time. he has such a good humor on him that like I think despite the fact that all this like, you know, I'm sure a lot of this weighs on him, the like complaining and stuff, but I think he is able to kind of like deflect it through humor in a really fun way. I appreciate you, Dan. Top 5, top 3 funniest game developers of all time, for sure. Mockrock says, I think Olympia is going to be a lot of people's favorites and least favorite characters in the game, Dan. I've seen plenty of people say they finally found their character in Rivals 2. For me, a risk-free, endlessly branching masher who can edgeguard by tapping B doesn't hit. It sounds like a skill issue to me, Mockrock. Okay, again, maybe a little biased as the Loxodon. I've not had trouble with Olympia. Like, literally, I knock Olympia off stage, hit her once with fair, she's done. She's dead. Only like really good Olympias are able to like recover back from that. I actually think she's fine. I prefer how she is rather than like how Zetterburn is for some reason. I think I'm just like particularly annoyed by Shine. It just feels like, what the hell is going on? And I think it's probably because Shine leads into like strong kills, which is annoying to me. And I have an Olympia bias, so it is what it is, you know? Gek, a top Loxodon player, goes on to share his thoughts about the game. On some real stuff, Rivals 1 changed my life and I'll defend that game until the day I die. When Rivals 2 got announced, I was excited like everyone else, and when I got the chance to play it for the first time, I saw very clear potential, but I also saw many glaring issues. Adding grabs and shields are fine. I came from Smash 4 and Ultimate, and it wasn't a foreign concept to me. I took issue with floor hug and CC at first because I wasn't used to it, but learned to appreciate what it's doing for the game over time. Rivals 1 gave me a fluid movement system along with one of, if not the best combo systems I've ever played with, and that's all I needed. Movement and combos are my flat baseline for what I need to enjoy a game. Coming to Rivals 2, now the movement was toned down, which is like okay I guess, but the combo system is just a shell of its former self, with very little skill expression actually required to win, which creates a very uninteresting gameplay loop of just doing the same 3 combos every stock. With the movement also being toned down, it makes toolkits in this game extremely over-centralized because it is a lot of times impossible to whiff punish clearly bad space moves because of how little lag they have and because of how much stricter positioning yourself is. You got characters like Zetterburn and Forsburn that quite literally only required 3 buttons in neutral, flashbacks, and it's frustrating for not just the opponent but the player as well because the other moves oftentimes aren't nearly as safe nor provide even remotely close reward. You can't even tell me that I'm wrong here because this ain't a diss, but you can't look at any Cake Forsburn VOD and tell me that either Bear in Dare isn't the most optimal option in 90% of scenarios, or Beastly where he's doing like 7 Z up airs for the 80%. Like wow man. These have been prominent issues for me and a lot of players since the beta days, but I stick around because I want the game to succeed so badly. I can't in good faith look at a majority of gameplay in this game and not just see a watered down version of the game I loved. But the fact that we're 6 months into the game's official lifespan and they've barely done anything to address the issues are just jarring to me. And what's worse is that you can't even have criticism of the game without people trying to give you crap for the game you came from, whether it's PM, Melee, Rivals 1, or Ult. People are always trying to argue with some stuff in bad faith without trying to have real legitimate conversation. But that's just the nature of Twitter I guess, but at the end of the day, I want Rivals 2 to succeed and for it to feel fun and interactive for everyone regardless of whatever game you're coming from. Yeah, I mean, like, there's an interesting thing about this take right here. They've barely done anything to address these issues. It's just jarring to me. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna make a video about this later, but like, when I remember, I kind of had the same feeling. I played a lot of Rivals 1 casually mostly. The only competitive experience I've had was in Genesis X and in Genesis X2. I joined the Rivals of Aether 1 tournaments and I went 2-2. So I'm not like good or anything, but you know, I play the game. And when Rivals of Aether 2 came out, I think it was in the second beta patch that I was like, wait, I'm like not having fun with this game. There's something about this game that actually is so different and not the same as Rivals 1 that I was not having fun. I was kind of bummed out about it. But as the patches went on, I truly think they went in a direction that made it more fun. And by the time the game came out officially, I was having a blast with Loxodon. And like a lot of specific changes they did to like the core mechanics, like the experimentations they did with floor hug and CC, with how strong it was, specific nerfs to some overly centralized characters like Claren and Rano. Where's the center nerfs though? Overall made the game a lot more enjoyable to me. Rivals of Aether 2, I think it's never going to be Rivals of Aether 1, right? It's kind of like people from Melee complaining that Brawl is so different from Melee. Or even Brawl people complaining that Smash 4 and Ultimate are so different from Brawl. It's like, yeah, it's a different game. It's not going to have the same movement as the previous games. In fact, that's just the fact of all sequel games, right? Street Fighter 6 is different from Street Fighter 5, which was different from Street Fighter 4. Even like games like Mario Kart, there's competitive Mario Karts, and every iteration of the game is like completely different. And there's new things to learn and new things to love about the game, you know? And unfortunately, it's just that Rivals of 1 Aether lovers, man, they really love their game. And the fact that it isn't Rivals of Aether 1 again but 3D is just gonna bum them out. And I'm sympathetic to that. I just don't think that is necessarily a direction that the team is going to go into, so it's just a losing battle. And I think you just gotta try to love the game as it is. And if it isn't for you, it isn't for you, you know? And ending with this note, the problem with Rivals 2 isn't that it should be more like PM or more like Rivals 1. The problem with it is it isn't more like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Like, for starters, where's SpongeBob? Where's Patrick? Where's Squidward, Sandy, Larry, Pearl, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton? Now that's the real hard-hitting questions. What are the SpongeBob characters in this game? Dan, do you hate Nickelodeon? Maybe. But Dan, overall, taking all this criticism in stride, has basically this to say: being subscribed to the Clash Royale subreddit since 2014 has been really good for my mental as a game developer. I have seen hundreds of posts of how the game is ruined and how the devs are terrible, and yet the game keeps trucking on with a massive player count. Okay, Anne says, to be frank, those devs are genuinely malicious in their pursuit of profit, like they have done their best to milk every drop out of the whales in that game. But Dan responds to that saying, I haven't played since 2017, so I only know what I see here and there, but I would say only half the Doom posts I see are about monetization, and the other half are gameplay or progression related. So yeah, look, all that to say is, I think everyone is, of course, allowed to complain, and the nature of Twitter, it being a public platform, is that some of these thoughts, maybe they should be private, but they're going to be public anyway, and people are going to get caught in the crossfire. And Dan, and I'm sure the other devs, seeing all these people, especially the top players, complain about the game, I'm sure it's not a good feeling. But like Dan says, people be complaining, but they play the game anyway, right? So really, what's the truth? What's the truth? I personally really appreciate Dan's mentality. He's always had a sense of humor. He always had a good head on his shoulders. This is why I believe the future is good. And here's the thing, it's not like the complaints are the only thing that's happening. A lot of people love the game too. In fact, Marlon himself, as mentioned this before, he does like the game. He says, I do like Rivals 2. It just has its issues. If I don't complain, how will it ever get better? I think it's such a good framework of an engine, but it's just missing some key parts that hinder it a lot. Yeah, the base game, Marlon really likes. Although I think Marlon, maybe you're a top player. I think you have a lot better access to the devs than you might think. Maybe you're just trying to also get the vibes of the players around you as well, as like a temperature check to see what other people think. But yeah, I'm sure you could DM Dan and the team about this stuff, and then see where he goes with it, whether he agrees or not. Other players like Rungunshu says, sometimes I feel like a crazy person for genuinely enjoying Rivals 2 and the direction the game goes every patch. Everywhere I go is just non-stop complaining about things. LP says, I quite like crouch canceling and playing Rivals of Aether 2. Just straight up, I like Rivals of Aether 2. And Slash Nurse says, unpopular opinion, but I like Rivals 2, and I don't have that much trouble with punishing people. Cody Schwab saying, I think it's unironically a lot better since the ECB changes. When I played this patch, I said it felt a lot easier without knowing what was even changed. When the game came out though, that stuff just didn't exist. The ECB changes definitely feel amazing. The game works a lot more like how it feels like it should now. Switch says, same, and Nurse says heretic? What does that even mean? Sorry, I forgot to complain incessantly. I'm not doing this Rivals thing correctly. I'm the #1 Zetterburn hater, but it for real isn't that deep. Every fighter has characters that are effed up. Which, yeah, it's just like, what? She's just like me. I'm this, I guess, #2 Zetterburn hater. But I also, it's not a big deal for me. It's just funny. Oh, this is an interesting conversation. I think bad players like me are just more vocal about frustration and confusion because different equals bad. When in reality, it probably isn't that bad and we will probably complain no matter what change. Which is, yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Nurse saying one of the toughest things about fighting games is that by design, the way you interact with the game drastically changes depending on how good you are. I can see how Rivals 2 wouldn't be fun if you had trouble consistently grasping the fundamentals. Fundamentals? Oh god! But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, the Rivals of Aether 2, even for me, right? For a moment, I was getting really frustrated with Loxodon or just playing the game because, like, I knew what I wanted to do in my head, but my hands weren't doing it. And I was like, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I want to waveland correctly. I want to do, like, my reverse aerial rush bears correctly, but, like, for some reason, it just wasn't clicking. But, like, eventually after practice, I was able to do those consistently, and my god, my enjoyment of the game skyrocketed. Because I can finally get the kills I wanted to, because this honestly skill issue I couldn't before. Ultimately, I actually think this is the most concise problem. Rivals 2 having your favorite mechanics from the game you're most familiar with is why the game has so many issues. Yeah, I think it's because Rivals 2 from its beginning was touted as like the next Smash killer, which, I mean, every platform fighter is, but like, I think Rivals 2 had this particular atmosphere to it because of how good Rivals 1 was. And because it had almost all the parts, maybe like 60-70% of the parts of all these different games, people who love their base game are like, just, they feel frustrated because it's like almost there in their eyes. Even though the soul of Rivals 2 is the synthesis of all these different mechanics, right? If Rivals 2 was just Rivals 1 but 3D, it wouldn't be Rivals 2. It would be Rivals 1. I think that was like redundant, but I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a different game and they should do different things with it. I think that it's good that they changed directions from Rivals 1, even though I love Rivals 1. And also, I'm the type of gamer who just likes the game that is current. Like, I loved Melee when it came out, I loved Brawl, and then I loved Smash 4, and then I liked Ultimate, you know? Although, to be fair, Ultimate, I started really not liking Ultimate, which is why I transferred to Rivals of Aether 1, and then now Rivals of Aether 2. But yeah, if you don't like the game, you gotta stop playing. You know, it is what it is. It's not good for your mental. Trust me, from a guy who was literally, I think I was literally addicted to Ultimate and was poisoning my mind, just bashing my head against the wall playing online, even though I hated the game. Going from that to now this game, it's just night and day, man. And hey, if you're like me who really likes the game and wants to support it and the people making content for it, the best thing you can do to support is buy some bundles or some Aether bucks. Now, before you do that, I want to make sure that you are supporting a creator with a creator code. Now, if you're anywhere in the menu, up here, you can see the support a creator button. Now, if you click this button, you can put in a creator code like both players, and hit confirm, and any purchase you make will not only help support me and the channel, you'll also get 5% back on that purchase. I also want to reiterate that it does not have to be me. You do not have to put my code if you already have a code in there. I just want you to be supporting any content creator that you want. Because it's free, I want you to support your favorite creator, regardless of who it is. Now, all of this conversation about whether or not Rivals 1 is better or Rivals 2 is better, got Squanto to tweet out how people with no concept of neutral look at you when they say Rivals 1 is better than Rivals 2. Now, this is the start of the diagonals discourse. Now, if you were looking at me in the beginning of this video being like, what the hell is he talking about diagonals? This is what I'm talking about, man. So Squanto first says this, right? Pretty provocative, pretty like, haha, pointing at Rivals 1 players being like, you don't know what neutral is. And Squanto quote retweets this saying, drinking game, go watch a VOD of anyone disagreeing with this take and take a shot every time they run away to a plat, you'll die. So claiming that, yeah, in Rivals 1, I guess everyone would just camp and run away to the platform in order to do plat drop aerials. But in response to this, Musev has a clip. It's a clip of in LACS is Run Gunshoe versus Squanto. Squanto's the one who's been claiming that Rivals 2 has much better, you know, neutral because of people don't just go to platforms. The first thing he does goes to platform and does a flat drop aerial. Like, we can't be serious. Dan says something's never changed. Rivals player rave dashes backwards once. Rivals community. This dude is camping me. Filthy campers, am I right, Dan? Okay, and so in response to this, Squanto says, why am I not surprised that people grasping onto Rivals 1 for dear life can't tell the difference between grabbing a plat for center stage control and running away to grab a plat? Okay, so, you know, Squanto is claiming that he wasn't retreating to a platform, he was getting stage control by grabbing the center and then, you know, doing a bear. Which in response, Wiley has another clip, which I'm sure is the same thing.
It was the best he's ever looked. Yeah, for sure.
Where both of them are going to the platform. Platform drop, platform drop, platform drop. Platform drop, platform drop. Okay. It's just funny to watch that because the context. And so that's the response he said to this. Okay, not stage control, but running away to grab a plat shows that. Squanto then says, "Thank you, Wiley, but it appears that you also don't know the difference between grabbing plats to hold stage presence and running away to the corner to grab plats." Wiley says, "Neither of you are using plat for stage presence at all. You are both spamming plat drop aerial. You are not holding down the plat. Plus, if they run away to the corner, you would not have more stage control because they gave up more space, making it easier to pin them down." And this is where it goes wrong, you guys. Or maybe it goes great. Squanto says, "We are trying to play diagonals, since that's where both our characters struggle to hit each other. We are literally trading spots over and over since any grounded option from either of us connecting is death. You have no idea what you're looking at." Q in response, "I'm playing diagonals as the bishop. It's 6:56 I'm trying my hardest not to belly laugh on this at the buzz, dude. The bishop is playing neutral." And so that was the vibes, alright? So this is when Gek gets on. It says, "My mutuals are dog crap at diagonals of Aether 2. Hey man, we don't know how to play diagonals." Spiker says, "My diagonals are better than yours. Run it, big dog." The diagonals go crazy, man. What about horizontals though? Horizontals, you might got me beat there. You might got me beat, man. Oh my god, it's so good. Karaoke saying, "What the F is a diagonal?" Musev saying, "You'll never understand. You lack the intellect required to achieve such a maneuver." And another response from "What the F is a diagonal?" Colossal says, It's almost up, almost down type shit. You get me? It's like if you had a straight and then you moved it. This is so stupid. Zonic says, "This tweet is useful for me later. You'll understand soon. Thank you in advance." And this is what Zonic is referring to. Clara is saying, "What the is a diagonal?" And then Rano, it's an almost up, almost down type. It's a straight line but move, dude. This is so good. Squanto, I know you're a good player, but diagonals is crazy. You can't just be pulling terms out of your butt, man. Drinking game. Watch any VOD top level Rivals 2 gameplay and take a shot every time someone whiffs a plat drop aerial. Nah, apparently I've been giving new information. These are called diagonals now. I apologize for not being an intellect and to know the simple facet of gameplay. Dude, oh man, diagonals is funny. Diagonals is funny, man. Diagonals of Aether. Musav saying, "Been having a lot more fun on Diagonals of Aether 2 lately because of the ECV changes. It's probably placebo, but my movement just feels a bit more responsive. Still not a fan of what they're doing to Rastard though. He's a really weird spot. I'm not playing him till they chill out." So a real complaint, but under Diagonals of Aether 2. Dude, they are running with diagonals. Banana showing plat drop simulator. The Rivals of Aether. Rivals of Aether 2 diagonals. Oh, this is so good. When I was searching for the original post by Squanto, I was looking at Squanto, and this was from 2021. A post from Elpy. Squanto scrolling through Twitter. And it implying that a lot of people has blocked Squanto. So I guess that's the vibe of who Squanto is. I'm not familiar with the top players of Rivals of Aether 1, I'll be honest. But that's really funny that this is the type of guy who's making these kind of comments. It all makes sense now. It's all tracking. The puzzle pieces are connecting. But to top it all off, this is how I feel as well, Luca. Thank God I'm not a good player. It keeps me in check from participating in Rivals discourse because I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about other than vibes. And listen, me too, man. Me too. I just play like there's another post that's like, I don't care about frame data. I don't care about that. It's all vibes, man. I'm just guessing. And that's what I'm doing. Oh man, some of the best discourse has happened on Rivals of Aether to this day, man. this game is funny for more reasons than one. And also, Marlin shouts out specifically Zeus the Goose. Zeus the Goose is a beacon of kindness that the community needed for a very long time. I can't ever be mad at that guy. Bro is way too nice to be playing a game like this. In all honesty though, I wholeheartedly envy his mentality. That man can take the tilt out of anyone in like 20 seconds of tuning into a stream. Yeah, I mean, I have not caught on to a Zeus the Goose stream, but it looks like I'm missing out. I want to catch the next one. So shout outs to Zeus the Goose. Stay lovely, my guy. You are the change that we want to see in this community. Now, we also got a bunch of tier lists happening. I haven't gotten a lot of people's. I just know that there has been like a trend of making stage tier lists. This one is from Cake Assault, Stango, and I guess Dr. Battle as well. S tier being Godai, which is so funny because I'm a Godai hater. A tier being Port and Hodojo. Polarizing and good being Harbor and Julesvale. Polarizing and bad but fun is Forest and Rockwall, which is, I think I tend to agree. Polarizing and bad, Air Armada. C tier, Fire Capital. This is interesting that the C tier is lower than Polarizing and bad. Not really sure the order of this. Merchant Port should be here, but more fun than Fire Capital. I mean, I guess this is where Stango disagrees. Harbor should be here. Okay, what is this? This is the most confusing. This is the most confusing tier list of all time. You just make separate tier lists, man. I don't know who believes in what, but this is a very interesting tier list. I don't know if I agree with all of this. As a Loxodon main, I'm never on Port because every other character is much better on Port than me. Maybe I should make my own stage tier list. Maybe I'll make a video that's like ultimate everything tier list. Sophie has her own tier list, which is loving these three. It's cool. These three. These two are mid and not a fan of these two. Yeah, I think I am somewhat in this camp. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variety in people's opinions. A lot of people seem to really not like Air Armada, and I think that's because in a game that like really emphasizes wall jumps as a resource, having no wall jumps is really brutal. And also, Capital is just really big. It's just too big, man. Zeke showing his own tier list. Tower of Heaven being Hodojo, Rockwall, and Harbor. Happy Places, Tempest and Julesvale. Hot Car, okay, is Harbor and Godai. Hey, I'm on team Hot Car for Godai. And the Abyss is these three. Yeah, I think these three seem to be people's generally least favorites. Controversial. This goes up and down for people. I think the most consistent things are these three are in the bottom for people. Gek showing his own tier list. Domain expansion. If you choose this versus me, you're responsible for the outcome. I guess this is his favorite. Most neutral stage in the game IMO. I think I agree. This is the most neutral stage. B tier with these three stages, C tier with this, and D for really bad, which is these are the controversial ones. The almost FD, the Harbor and Air Armada. Yeah, I mean, I think I generally agree with this list as well, actually. This is for sure where I want to start every time. This is a coin flip for me. Either I'm rocking their socks off or they're rocking mine. And the rest of the stages. And then these two are like, I'm never picking these as Loxodon. Maybe we both play Loxodon. Maybe that's why. This stage I never play. And all of these are not good for Lox. Maybe Forest, but you know. And Vibe has their tier list. So again, F you to these four. Wow, against a Tempest, not a Tempest guy. Love Rockwall. Man, people love Rockwall. These two are alright, which is just the basic stages. Whatever, bruh, are these two. Okay, man, is Forest. FU is, man, so funny. Air Armada I get, but not Tempest. I guess because the sides and ceiling are really big, and really doesn't like Harbor or Capital. It's interesting to see Harbor being worse than Air Armada. I think Harbor makes for some interesting gameplay, but yeah, I don't know. And now Beastly has shown his own tier list of the characters in this game. Gods of this game is Olympia and Rano. Okay, can solo win brackets? These guys right here, Zetter, Raster, Forsburn, Crag, Claren, and Maple. Need some luck, but very good. Orcane and Fleet. Dare to ruin brackets for nothing? What do you mean? What do you mean ruin brackets for nothing? Which is funny. that I think I ultimately agree with this tier list anyway. Yeah, I actually think, besides disagreeing with this statement, the order of everything I kind of agree with. I do understand that these two kind of go crazy. I think these three are the best in the game, but so I think what I would do is put Zetterburn in this tier, and then everything else I agree. And Zeke with Beastly actually made an Olympia matchup chart, claiming that these two are +2, which I understand, that we are combo food and are so big, +1 on the basically rest of the cast, and even on these guys. No one on minus in Coach Zeke's opinion. I'm actually surprised. A lot of people said Clarin is like the counter to Olympia, so I'm surprised that Coach Zeke believes that Clarin is +1 and not even at the very least. But yeah, very interesting. Most importantly, the only Rivals 2 tier list you need to know about are the face tier list. This is, I think, perfect. :D for Arcane, cat face for the cat and fox, beak face for the bird, the sharp frown for Clarin, the frowns for these guys because they are frowning, and then the angry frown for the rest of the cast. This is their mood. This is the perfect tier list, I think. It cannot be argued with. Now, moving on from the tier list, LP has some things to say about ETALUS. I could have moved this to the complaining section of this video, but honestly, I think it's a little bit different. But basically, LP is saying, ETALUS Fair should do more damage than Olympia Fair. ETALUS down special and hammer should do more shield damage. ETALUS armor should make him way heavier. Ice shield should do something. Maybe make a 101 tutorial video for him. Not too sure how Olympia got one before ETALUS. So yeah, a couple things that's really interesting. When ETALUS came out, he was pretty underpowered, I would say. And a lot of us had this idea that like, oh, maybe the devs have decided to underpower a character before giving it slow buffs so that it's less frustrating to play. I will say that with Olympia, that theory is a little bit out the window because Olympia came out really strong and with stuff that goes crazy. So yeah, I mean, I also think this is true. Like ETALUS, the way certain mechanics revolve around him with like the ice shield and stuff like that, he seems to be like, he should be able to do a lot of shield damage and a lot of shield pressure. Yeah, his fair is a giant ass fist, which I guess because it has armor, I guess the balance is that it's weaker. But Olympia fair is mega strong and really fast. So if anything, I think the fact that it has armor should indicate how powerful it is. Justice for the bear. I can't sit here and act like everything is fine when my character is blatantly unfinished while they release war crimes like Olympia. I could think of so many fun ideas and changes to give ETALUS. It's a shame he is built the way he is. Doesn't mean he's weak necessarily. There's so much room for ETALUS to get some why not buffs and changes, just for the sake of him being more fun. Maybe he could slide around like there's ice while he's in armor since he's covered in ice. Oh, that's a really interesting gimmick. Maybe they could incorporate Ice Shield more to more parts of him, like down B. I think I agree. More of his moves should incorporate the ice mechanic. I'm not really sure if LP here means like the ice crystals or like freezing the shield. But yeah, the fact that I think the only things that affect that is special pummel as well as down B. Oh, and I'm getting neutral B. But like neutral B, honestly, here's the thing. I understand why neutral B doesn't like break shields outright because it applies the ice, but I think what they don't realize is that it's pretty weak. The ice mechanic is not that strong because against ETALUS, I don't think you're holding shield that often. Even if I get my ice frozen, I'm not even that worried. Also because you get to recover shield by hitting ETALUS, and ETALUS is combo food, so really it kind of negates itself. Sure, you can't camp to recover shield, but like it's a little, it doesn't really matter, you know? You're not camping ETALUS, you're gonna be in his face. I also think ETALUS should get some love. If they're gonna keep him this week, maybe bring back wave dash out of dash attack. I think it's fine that you can wave dash and then bait a shield and then grab them. You know, it's kind of like a tomahawk, but unique to ETALUS. I do hope they consider that, you know. Next is a bunch of clips, specifically Vibe Marth playing some Clarin. He's a legendary Super Saiyan Clarin.
I have more confidence in Ledger.
Ooh.
This is gonna be a $100
My God.
bet.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh dude, I love that. I don't know if, I mean, it's just because I see Spargo do it all the time. The freaking tipper into neutral special is so stylish, dude. I freaking love that. Here's another clip. Reverse bear is pretty awesome. I love. Why is it this song? Ooh, ah! Okay, dude, that's so sick. Reverse bear, the fair one tipper. That's really cool. I love reverse bear in Rivals of Aether 1, probably the only reverse hit I like. Maybe because it doesn't randomly kill you for DIing wrong at 80 for like some other reverse hits. Yeah, I mean, the reverse hit, I think what reverse hits should do is set up combos. I don't think reverse hits should like kill people. I think that's crazy. Because it's a DI mix-up for what? I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater in this case. I think reverse hits can be cool in certain moves, like Bear. I think if more moves were incorporated like this, it would be sick. More moonwalks from Rano. Moonwalk of Aether. Dude, Rano gets so much from moonwalk up tilt, that's crazy. Moonwalk up tilt to down smash? Yikes! Oh, the soft hits, and he lives. Oh my god. I gotta face more strong Ranos, because, man, Ranos in my tier of gameplay, they're all just okay. Here's a Dan clip. I'm just an honest maple looking for a little hard-earned late elo instead of actually working. Get the poppy on, pop it off, and up special. Nice. Dan says, how future character discussions generally go at Aether Studios. This is Bowser but good. Dan, this is the 7th week in a row you've shown Bowser but good in class. I guess Dan really likes Crag and wants to like have people like Crag. Joy Zelda. I think this is talking about Absa. For the love of God, just nerf him instead of slightly buffing him each time. Which dev mains Crag, bro? That's so funny. Oh, this is really cool. Raven is teasing a upcoming video on teaching their philosophy on positive thinking. While most people are going down in rank, the people I've been coaching have been going up in rank. Coincidence? I think not. I think not. Placed 100 MMR higher, placed almost 200 above I was previously. Pretty cool. So look out for that coming up soon. Egyptian trend but arcane. I don't understand where this is, what this is from. And also, I'm like pretty sure this song is from Rhythm Heaven, inspired by these videos. I see. What is this? This meme is crazy. This trend is crazy. I don't understand, but okay. Nah, this is a funny post. CC is ruining rivals. What? Dan Fernacey? CC ruining rivals? Can't even dive the backline anymore with Emma and the thing back there keeping you perma-locked down. Crowd control, if you didn't know. CC is also crowd control, which is ruining rivals, Marvel rivals. Now CC and rivals on the other hand? That's pretty good. I think what's funny about this post is that it has slightly breached the intended audience. It is now going to actual Marvel Rivals players because they don't understand the context of this guy, which is hilarious. Elky's a top player who plays Maple, says, welcome to the Gang Cake Assault. Get stupid. In fact, maybe that's what we all have to do in this game. Maybe that's all we have to do in life. Just get stupider. People say ignorance is bliss, and it's, you know what? There's some truth to that. Just play the game and have fun, you know what I mean? And speaking of getting stupid, girl, are you the creator of Rivals of Aether? Because you're the only Dan Forn I see. What the frick, man? That's stupid. Now that's stupid. So this, Cheesy Potato showed this clip of NL talking about getting crystallized and says Olympia. And then Alex made a flip note animation out of it, and I think it's so good.
We're gonna put you in the crystal. You're gonna be in the crystal for a minute. It's gonna feel like 1 week. It's only 1 week.
What's the
man.
reference that NL is making?
Like a century, okay? You're going in. The minute is gonna feel like a week. So you have some time to think about what you've done,
so
and then you're gonna
funny.
come out of the crystal.
Why? Why is this so exactly how it feels to play against Olympia? I'm in the crystal for a week. Now it's some fan art. Bottles GSC Chewy. I don't know what you go by, but this Olympia commission is so cool. Full send, punch punch. I'm really digging this, man. I guess you go by bottles because bottles is what you sign, but you're also Chewy. Then we have some Fleet fan art. Another, I forgot to post some Rivals of Aether Fleet. I'm liking how she looks. She's very like, hee hee, you know, very sly. She's a sly fox. Watermelon has posted some Claren fan art, and I really like the way they did it. I think Claren looks really cool, and I think part of it has to do with this like hair flip thing that she has going on. And in fact, someone actually modded in the hair flip in the 3D model, and I'm not gonna lie, it's just small change, but she for some reason looks way more badass. Well, maybe it's because it has like Super Saiyan vibes. This is what Eggploon says. She looks like she's asking to go Super Saiyan. I think that may be the part of the reason why. But like just slicked back, it looks like, you know, she looks a little like soft, but with the little hair flip, she looks really cool. Next, we have superhero Rano skin concept. Oh yeah, so this isn't invincible. This is superhero Rano. I think superhero Rano would be really cool, not gonna lie. I bet it's red because it's blood of the enemies. That's an amazing concept, but would have to be a collab or our lawyers would have to be invincible. Yeah, I wonder how much can you parody? Like, does this count as parody? I don't know what parody laws are, so I can't say. And finally, another doodle of Claren. She got little sleepy eyes, got some lines under her eyes, kind of looks tired, but you know, kind. And this is what I'm saying, the little like hair floop just going up like this makes her seem softer and kinder, but if you add a little she looks like a badass protagonist. You always drawing her with insomnia. This is the AU version where she lives in the streets constantly hunted, so yeah, being a super soldier is hard work. Dang, that's sad. But she does look sleepy and tired, but still very kind. I think canon Claren is like super angry and aggro, but this one very, very nice. Alright, and welcome to the YouTube portion of the video. Now I won't be showing everything I've seen this week, but some of the ones I do want to highlight is this interview from Laststock. Laststock got an interview with Mend, which is the technical sound designer of Rivals of Aether. Technically, Mend is part of Moonsailor, who works with Rivals of Aether, but Mend themselves basically works full-time on Rivals of Aether. I think this is a really fun and interesting look at what goes on in the sound design elements of Rivals of Aether. So if you're either an aspiring sound designer or just like the process of sound designing in general, this is a really cool video to watch. I highly recommend watching this video. This is super sick, and I hope Laststock keeps doing more dev interviews. Next is this video from Coach Zeke. This is how I practice Rivals of Aether 2. Now, Coach Zeke is a pretty prolific coach, coaching a lot of top players in both Smash and Rivals of Aether. And this is going over how he decides to practice. Basically like how to set goals while playing, and well as VOD reviewing, stuff like that. It's a long watch, an hour and 40 minutes, but I think it's very helpful. So Wrong Tree Esports is doing something similar to me, where they are talking about the previous week or so about what's going on in the community, but they have a particular competitive aspect to it. Both of them are into the competitive scene, so they have a lot more insight on what's going on in that part of the community. They have discussion topics like the recent big tournament, Battle of BC, whether or not Olympia is OP, and talking about if Rivals patches are going in the right direction, very similar to what I'm talking about today. So if you want some more insight on the competitive side of things, go take a look. Now if you're into more fun gameplay style videos with high editing, It's Cyan has a video playing some Olympia. So go check that out if you want some fun. And finally, if you want to take your Olympia to the next level, Laststock has made an Olympia mastery guide, talking about her strengths and weaknesses, what she does in neutral, how to stay in her advantage state, what to do with Crystal, tips and tricks, and mitigating her weaknesses. A super in-depth video if you want to know how to play Olympia at a higher level. Alright, so that's where I'm going to end it today. Unfortunately, because the video is going way too long, I'm not going to be doing the Reddit recap for this video. I might make that a separate video. Some people have been requesting that it be a separate video from the main news videos, so maybe I try that this week. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, keep playing Rivals, and I'll see you next time.